Welcome everybody, this is Alan with Daily Armor of God. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're all doing well. This is reading the Bible in 123 days. We're on day 50. Today we'll be reading 2 Chronicles 10 through 20. And we're going to get started here with Rehoboam, which, if you remember, is Solomon's son. And this is exactly where the decline starts of kings. And evil kings, and bad kings, and a few good kings sprinkled in. So, Rehoboam. 2 Chronicles 10 verse 1. Rehoboam went to Shechem, for to Shechem were all Israel come to make him king. And it came to pass when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was in Egypt, whither he had fled from the presence of Solomon the king, heard it that Jeroboam returned out of Egypt. And they sent and called him. So Jeroboam and all Israel came and spake to Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore ease thou somewhat the grievous servitude of thy father, and this heavy yoke that he had put upon us, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, Come again unto me after 3 days. And the people departed. King Rehoboam took counsel with the old men that had stood before Solomon his father, while he yet lived, saying, What counsel give ye me to return answer to this people? They spake unto him, saying, If thou be kind to this people, and please them, and speak good words to them, they will be thy servants forever. But he forsook the counsel which the old men gave him, and took counsel with the young men that were brought up with him, that stood before him. And he said unto them, What advice give ye that we may return answer to this people, which have spoken to me, saying, Ease somewhat the yoke of that thy father did put upon us? The young men that were brought up with him spake unto him, saying, Thus shalt thou answer the people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it somewhat lighter for us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. Whereas my father put a heavy yoke upon you, I will put more to your yoke. My father chastised you with whips, I will chastise you with scorpions. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam on the 3rd day, as the king bade, saying, Come again to me on the 3rd day. And the king answered them roughly, and the king Rehoboam forsook the counsel of the old men. And they answered them after the advice of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, but I will add thereto. My father chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was of God, that Yahweh might perform his word which he spake by the hand of Ahijah the Shilonite to Jeroboam the son of Nebat. When all Israel saw that the king would not hearken unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? We have none inheritance in the son of Jesse. Every man to your tents, O Israel. And now, David, see to thine own house. So all Israel went to their tents. But as for the children of Israel that dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Then King Rehoboam sent Hadoram, that was over the tribute, and the children of Israel stoned him with stones, that he died. But King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. And Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. So not only do we see the decline of kings and a bunch of evil kings, but we also see with Rehoboam the split of the kingdom. So it will be the kingdom of Israel, but that does not include the kingdom of Judah. So there's 2 kingdoms now. So 2 Chronicles 11. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he gathered of the house of Judah and Benjamin 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors, to fight against Israel, that he might bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam. But the word of Yahweh came to Shemaiah, the man of God, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and to all Israel and Judah and Benjamin, saying, Thus saith Yahweh, Ye shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren. Return every man to his house, for this thing is done of me. And they obeyed the words of Yahweh, and returned from going against Jeroboam. Rehoboam dwelt in Jerusalem, and built up cities for defense in Judah. He built even Bethlehem, and Etam, and Tekoa, and Bethzur, and Shoko, and Adullam, and Gath, and Marashah, and Zip, and Adoraim, and Lachish, and Azekah, and Zorah, and Aijalon, and Hebron, which are in Judah and in Benjamin fenced cities. And he fortified the strongholds and put captains in them, and store of victual, and of oil and wine. In every several city he put shields and spears, and made them exceeding strong, having Judah and Benjamin on his side. And the priests and the Levites that were in all Israel resorted unto him out of all their coasts. The Levites left their suburbs and their possessions and came to Judah and Jerusalem, for Jeroboam and his sons had cast them off from executing the priest's office unto Yahweh. And he ordained him priests for the high places, and for the devils, and for the calves which he had made. And after them, out of all the tribes of Israel, such as set their hearts to seek Yahweh God of Israel came to Jerusalem, to sacrifice unto Yahweh God of their fathers. So they strengthened the kingdom of Judah, and made Rehoboam the son of Solomon strong 3 years. For 3 years they walked in the way of David and Solomon. Rehoboam took him Mahalath, the daughter of Jeremoth, the son of David, to wife, and Abihail, the daughter of Eliab, the son of Jesse, which bare him children, Jush, and Shamariah, and Zaham. And after he had took Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, which he bare him Abijah, and Attai, and Ziza, and Shelomith. And Rehoboam loved Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, above all his wives and his concubines, for he took 18 wives and 60 concubines, and begat 28 sons and 60 daughters. And Rehoboam made Abijah, the son of Maacah, the chief, to be ruler among his brethren, for he thought to make him king. He dealt wisely and dispersed all his children throughout all the countries of Judah and Benjamin unto every fenced city, and he gave them victual in abundance, and he desired many wives. 2 Chronicles 12. And it came to pass when Rehoboam had established the kingdom and had strengthened himself, he forsook the law of Yahweh, and all Israel with him. Wow. That's interesting, isn't it? After his kingdom was established and strengthened, then he forsook Yahweh. Interesting. And it came to pass in the 5th year, King Rehoboam, Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem, because they had transgressed against Yahweh, with 1,200 chariots and 60,000 horsemen, and the people were without number that came with him out of Egypt, the Lubims, the Sukkims, and the Ethiopians, and he took the fenced cities which pertained to Judah, and came to Jerusalem. Then came Shemaiah the prophet to Rehoboam, and to the princes of Judah that were gathered together to Jerusalem because of Shishak, and said unto them, Thus saith Yahweh, Ye have forsaken me, and therefore have I also left you in the hand of Shishak. Whereupon the princes of Israel and the king humbled themselves, and they said, Yahweh is righteous. And when Yahweh saw that they humbled themselves, the word of Yahweh came to Shemaiah, saying, They have humbled themselves, therefore I will not destroy them, but I will grant them some deliverance, and my wrath shall not be poured out upon Jerusalem by the hand of Shishak. Nevertheless they shall be his servants, that they may know my service and the service of the kingdoms of the countries. So Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem, and took away the treasures of the house of Yahweh, and the treasures of the king's house. He took all, and carried away also the shields of gold which Solomon had made. See, this right here is so sad. Everything that Solomon and David worked for is gone. So sad. Instead of which King Rehoboam made shields of brass, and committed them into the hands of the chief of the guard that kept the entrance of the king's house. And when the king entered into the house of Yahweh, the guard came and fetched them, and brought them again into the guard chamber. And when he humbled himself, the wrath of Yahweh turned from him, that he would not destroy him altogether. And also in Judah things went well. So King Rehoboam strengthened himself in Jerusalem and reigned, for Rehoboam was 41 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city which Yahweh had chosen out of all the tribes of Israel to put his name there, and his mother's name was Naamah the Ammonitess. And he did evil because he prepared not his heart to seek Yahweh. Now the acts of Rehoboam, first and last, are they not written in the book of Shemaiah the prophet, and of Iddo the seer concerning genealogies? And there were wars between Rehoboam and Jeroboam continually. Rehoboam slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David, and Abijah his son reigned in his stead. 2 Chronicles 13. Now in the 18th year of King Jeroboam began Abijah to reign over Judah. He reigned 3 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Micaiah, the daughter of Uriel of Gibeah, and there was war between Abijah and Jeroboam. And Abijah set the battle in array with an army of valiant men of war, even 400,000 chosen men. Jeroboam also set the battle in array against him with 800,000 chosen men, being mighty men of valor. And Abijah stood up upon Mount Zeramim, which is Mount Ephraim, and he said, Hear me, thou Jeroboam, and all Israel. Ought ye not to know that Yahweh God of Israel gave the kingdom over Israel to David forever, even to him and to his sons by a covenant of salt? Yet Jeroboam the son of Nebat, the servant of Solomon, the son of David, is risen up and hath rebelled against his Lord. And there are gathered unto him vain men, the children of Belial, and have strengthened themselves against Rehoboam the son of Solomon, when Rehoboam was young and tender-hearted, and could not withstand them. And now ye think to withstand the kingdom of Yahweh in the hand of the sons of David? And ye be a great multitude, and there are with you golden calves which Jeroboam made for you, for your gods? Have ye not cast out the priests of Yahweh, the sons of Aaron and the Levites, and have made you priests after the manner of the nations of other lands? So that whosoever cometh to consecrate himself with a young bullock and 7 rams, the same may be a priest of them that are no gods. But as for us, Yahweh is our God, and we have not forsaken him, and the priests which minister unto Yahweh are the sons of Aaron, and the Levites wait upon their business. They burn unto Yahweh every morning and every evening burnt sacrifices, and sweet incense, and showbread also set they in order upon a pure table, and the candlestick of gold with the lamps thereof, to burn every evening. For we keep the charge of Yahweh our God, but ye have forsaken him. And behold, God himself is with us for our captain and his priests, and sounding trumpets to cry alarm against you. O children of Israel, fight ye not against Yahweh, God of your fathers, for ye shall not prosper. But Jeroboam caused an ambushment to come up about behind them, so they were before Judah, and the ambushment was behind them. And when Judah looked back, behold, the battle was before and behind, and they cried unto Yahweh, and the priests sounded with the trumpets. Then the men of Judah gave a shout, and as the men of Judah shouted, it came to pass that God smote Jeroboam and all Israel before Abijah and Judah. And the children of Israel fled before Judah, and God delivered them into their hand. And Abijah and his people slew them with a great slaughter, so there fell down slain of Israel 500,000 chosen men. Now this is also sad to see, because they're all children of Israel here, fighting against each other. It's civil war. So it's sad that they're destroying themselves. Like, they already have enough problems with the Philistines and all the other people surrounding them, but now they're killing themselves. It's just so sad. Thus the children of Israel were brought under at that time, and the children of Judah prevailed because they relied upon Yahweh, God of their fathers. And Abijah pursued after Jeroboam and took cities from him, Bethel with the towns thereof, and Jeshanah with the towns thereof, and Ephraim with the towns thereof. Neither did Jeroboam recover strength again in the days of Abijah, and Yahweh struck him, and he died. But Abijah waxed mighty, and married 14 wives, and begat 22 sons and 16 daughters. The rest of the acts of Abijah, and his ways and his sayings, are written in the story of the prophet Iddo. 2 Chronicles 14. So Abijah slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David, and Asa his son reigned in his stead. In his days the land was quiet 10 years. And Asa did that which was good and right in the eyes of Yahweh his God. For he took away the altars of the strange gods, and the high places, and brake down the images, and cut down the groves, and commanded Judah to seek Yahweh God of their fathers, and to do the law and the commandment. Also he took away out of all the cities of Judah the high places and images, and the kingdom was quiet before him. And he built fenced cities in Judah, for the land had rest, and he had no war in those years, because Yahweh had given him rest. Therefore he said unto Judah, Let us build these cities, and make about them walls and towers, gates and bars, while the land is yet before us, because we have sought Yahweh our God. We have sought him, and he hath given us rest on every side. So they built and prospered. And Asa had an army of men that bare targets and spears, out of Judah 300,000, and out of Benjamin that bare shields and drew bows 280,000. All these were mighty men of valor. And there came out against them Zerah the Ethiopian with a host of 1,300 chariots, and came unto Mareshah. Then Asa went out against him, and they set the battle array in the valley of Zephanath at Mareshah. And Asa cried unto Yahweh his God, and said, Yahweh, it is nothing with thee to help, whether with many or with them that have no power. Help us, O Yahweh, our God, for we rest on thee, and in thy name we go against this multitude. O Yahweh, thou art our God, let no man prevail against thee. So Yahweh smote the Ethiopians before Asa and before Judah, and the Ethiopians fled. And Asa and the people that were with him pursued them unto Gerar, and the Ethiopians were overthrown, that they could not recover themselves, for they were destroyed before Yahweh and before his host, and they carried away very much spoil. And they smote all the cities round about Gerar, for the fear of Yahweh came upon them, and they spoiled all the cities, for there was exceeding much spoil in them. They smote also the tents of cattle, and carried away sheep and camels in abundance, and returned to Jerusalem. 2 Chronicles 15. And the Spirit of God came upon Azariah the son of Oded, and he went out to meet Asa, and said unto him, Hear ye me, Asa, and all Judah and Benjamin. Yahweh is with you, while ye be with him, and if you seek him, he will be found of you, but if you forsake him, he will forsake you. Now for a long season Israel hath been without the true God, and without a teaching priest, and without law. But when they in their trouble did turn unto Yahweh God of Israel, they sought him, he was found of them. And in those times there was no peace to him that went out, nor to him that came in, but great vexations were upon all the inhabitants of the countries. And nation was destroyed of nation, and city was a city of city, for God did vex them with all adversity. Be ye strong therefore, and let not your hands be weak, for your work shall be rewarded. And when Asa heard these words, and the prophecy of Oded the prophet, he took courage, and put away the abominable idols out of all the land of Judah and Benjamin, and out of all the cities which he had taken from Mount Ephraim, and renewed the altar of Yahweh that was before the porch of Yahweh. And he gathered all Judah and Benjamin, and the strangers with them out of Ephraim and Manasseh, and of Simeon, for they fell to him out of Israel in abundance, and when they saw that Yahweh his God was with him. So they gathered themselves together at Jerusalem in the 3rd month, in the 15th year of the reign of Asa. And they offered unto Yahweh the same time the spoil which they had brought, 700 oxen and 7,000 sheep. They entered into a covenant to seek Yahweh God of their fathers with all their heart and with all their soul, that whosoever would not seek Yahweh God of Israel should be put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman. And they swear unto Yahweh with a loud voice, and with shouting, and with trumpets, and with cornets. And all Judah rejoiced at the oath, for they had sworn with all their heart, and sought him with their whole desire. And he was found of them, and Yahweh gave them rest round about. Also concerning Maacah, the mother of Asa the king, he removed her from being queen, because she had made an idol in a grove. And Asa cut down her idol, and stamped it, and burnt it at the brook Kidron. But the high places were not taken away out of Israel. Nevertheless, the heart of Asa was perfect all his days. And he brought into the house of God the things that his father had dedicated, and that he himself had dedicated, silver and gold and vessels. And there was no more war until the 35th year of the reign of Asa. 2 Chronicles 16. In the 36th year of the reign of Asa, Baasha king of Israel came up against Judah, and built Ramah, to the intent that he might let none go out or come in to King Asa king of Judah. Then Asa brought out silver and gold out of the treasures of the house of Yahweh and of the king's house, and sent to Benhadad king of Syria, that dwelt at Damascus, saying, There is a league between me and thee, as there was between my father and thy father. Behold, I have sent thee silver and gold. Go, break thy league with Baasha king of Israel, that he may depart from me. And Benhadad hearkened unto King Asa, and sent the captains of his armies against the cities of Israel, and they smote Ijon and Dan and Abelmaim, and all the store cities of Naphtali. And it came to pass, when Baasha heard of it, that he left off building Ramah, and let his work cease. Then Asa the king took all Judah, and they carried away the stones of Ramah, and the timber thereof, wherewith Baasha was building, and he built therewith Geba and Mizpah. And at that time Hanani the seer came to Asa king of Judah, and said unto him, Because thou hast relied on the king of Syria, and not relied on Yahweh thy God, therefore is the host of the king of Syria escaped out of thine hand. Were not the Ethiopians and the Lubims a huge host, with very many chariots and horsemen? Yet because thou didst rely on Yahweh, he delivered them into thine hand. For the eyes of Yahweh run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him. Wherein thou hast done foolishly, therefore from henceforth thou shalt have wars. Then Asa was wroth with the seer and put him in a prison house, for he was in a rage with him because of this thing, and Asa oppressed some of the people the same time. Behold, the acts of Asa, first and last, lo, they are written in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. And Asa in the 39th year of his reign was diseased in his feet until his disease was exceeding great. Yet in his disease he sought not to Yahweh, but to the physicians. And Asa slept with his fathers and died in the 41st year of his reign. And they buried him in his own sepulchres, which he had made for himself in the city of David, and laid him in a bed which was filled with sweet odors and diverse kind of spices, prepared by the apothecary's art. And they made a very great burning for him. 2 Chronicles 17. Jehoshaphat his son reigned in his stead, and strengthened himself against Israel. And he placed forces in all the fenced cities of Judah, and set garrisons in the land of Judah, and in the cities of Ephraim, which Asa his father had taken. And Yahweh was with Jehoshaphat, because he walked in the first ways of his father David, and sought not unto Baalim, but sought to Yahweh, God of his father, and walked in his commandments, and not after the doings of Israel. Therefore Yahweh established the kingdom in his hand, and all Judah brought to Jehoshaphat presents, and he had riches and honor in abundance. And his heart was lifted up in the ways of Yahweh. Moreover, he took away the high places and groves out of Judah. Also in the 3rd year of his reign he sent to his princes, even to Ben-Hail, and to Obadiah, and to Zechariah, and to Nathaniel, and to Micaiah, to teach the cities of Judah. And with them he sent Levites, even Shemaiah, and Nethaniah, and Zebediah, and Asael, and Shemiramoth, and Jehohanan, and Adonijah, and Tobijah, and Tobadonijah, Levites, and with them Elishama and Jehoram priests. And they taught in Judah, and had the book of the law of Yahweh with them, and went about throughout all the cities of Judah, and taught the people. And the fear of Yahweh fell upon all the kingdoms of the lands that were round about Judah, so that they made no war against Jehoshaphat. And some of the Philistines brought Jehoshaphat presents and tribute silver, and the Arabians brought him flocks, 7,700 rams, and 7,700 he-goats. Wow. Isn't that interesting? The Arabians brought him flocks. Did you notice the numbers here? It's interesting why God uses the number 7 a lot, and the children of Israel uses the number of 7 a lot, but the Arabians here, they're using the number 7 here. 7,700, 7,700. Very interesting when you see these numbers pop up. And Jehoshaphat waxed great exceedingly, and he built in Judah castles and cities of store. And he had much business in the cities of Judah, and the men of war, mighty men of valor, were in Jerusalem. And these are the number of them according to the house of their fathers. Of Judah, the captains of thousands, Adnah the chief, and with him mighty men of valor, 300,000. Next to him was Jehohanan the captain, and with him 280,000. Next to him was Amasiah the son of Zichri, who willingly offered himself unto Yahweh, and with him 200,000 mighty men of valor. And in Benjamin, Elida, a mighty man of valor, and with him armed men with a bow and shield, 200,000. And next to him was Jehozabad, and with him 180,000 ready prepared for war. These waited on the king beside those whom the king put in the fenced cities throughout all Judah. 2 Chronicles 18. Now Jehoshaphat had riches and honor in abundance, and joined affinity with Ahab. And after certain years he went down to Ahab to Samaria, and Ahab killed sheep and oxen for him in abundance, and for the people that he had with him, and persuaded him to go up with him to Ramoth-Gilead. And Ahab king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat king of Judah, Wilt thou go with me to Ramoth-Gilead? And he answered, I am as thou art, my people as thy people, and we will be with thee in the war. Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, Inquire, I pray thee, at the word of Yahweh today. Therefore the king of Israel gathered together of prophets 400 men, and said unto them, Shall we go to Ramoth-Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? And they said, Go up, for God will deliver it into the king's hand. But Jehoshaphat said, Is there not here a prophet of Yahweh besides, that we might inquire of him? And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, There is yet one man by whom we may inquire of Yahweh, but I hate him, for he never prophesied good unto me, but always evil. The same is Micaiah, the son of Imlah. And Jehoshaphat said, Let not the king say so. And the king of Israel called for one of his officers and said, Fetch quickly Micaiah, the son of Imlah. And the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, sat either of them on his throne, clothed in their robes, and they sat in a void place at the entering of the gate of Samaria. And all the prophets prophesied before them. And Zedekiah the son of Chenaanah had made him horns of iron, and said, Thus saith Yahweh, With these shalt thou pursue Syria until they be consumed. And all the prophets prophesied so, saying, Go up to Ramoth-Gilead and prosper, for Yahweh shall deliver it into the hand of the king. The messenger that went to call Micaiah spake to him, saying, Behold, the words of the prophets declare good to the king with one assent. Let thy word therefore, I pray thee, be like one of theirs, and speak thou good. Micaiah said, As Yahweh liveth, even what my God saith, that will I speak. And when he was come to the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go to Ramoth-Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? And he said, Go ye up and prosper, and they shall be delivered into your hand. And the king said to him, How many times shall I adjure thee that thou say nothing but the truth to me in the name of Yahweh? Then he said, I did see all Israel scattered upon the mountains as sheep that have no shepherd. And Yahweh said, These have no master, let them return therefore every man to his house in peace. And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, Did I not tell thee that he would not prophesy good unto me, but evil? Again he said, Therefore hear the word of Yahweh. I saw Yahweh sitting upon his throne, and all the host of heaven standing on his right hand and on his left. And Yahweh said, Who shall entice Ahab king of Israel, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth-Gilead? And one spake, saying after this manner, and another saying after that manner. Then there came out a spirit, and stood before Yahweh, and said, I will entice him. And Yahweh said unto him, Wherewith? And he said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And Yahweh said, Thou shalt entice him, and thou shalt also prevail. Go out and do even so. Now therefore, behold, Yahweh hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of these thy prophets, and Yahweh hath spoken evil against thee. Then Zedekiah son of Chenaanah came near and smote Micaiah upon the cheek, and said, Which way went the spirit of Yahweh from me to speak unto thee? Micaiah said, Behold, thou shalt see on that day, when thou shalt go into an inner chamber to hide thyself. And the king of Israel said, Take ye Micaiah, and carry him back to Ammon, the governor of the city, and to Joash the king's son, and say, Thus saith the king, Put this fellow in prison, and feed him with bread of affliction, and with water of affliction, until I return in peace. Micaiah said, If thou certainly return in peace, then hath not Yahweh spoken by me? And he said, Hearken all ye people. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat and the king of Judah went up to Ramoth-Gilead. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself and will go to the battle, but put thou on thy robes. So the king of Israel disguised himself, and they went to the battle. And the king of Syria had commanded the captains of the chariots that were with him, saying, Fight ye not with small or great, save only with the king of Israel. And it came to pass when the captains of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, that they said, It is the king of Israel. Therefore they compassed him about to fight. But Jehoshaphat cried out, and Yahweh helped him, and God moved them to depart from him. For it came to pass that when the captains of the chariots perceived that it was not the king of Israel, they turned back again from pursuing him. And a certain man drew a bow at a venture, and smote the king of Israel between the joints and harness. Therefore he said to his chariot man, Turn thine hand, that thou mayest carry me out of the host, for I am wounded. And the battle increased that day, howbeit the king of Israel stayed himself up in his chariot against the Syrians until the even, and about the time of the sun going down, he died. 2 Chronicles 19. And Jehoshaphat the king of Judah returned to his house in peace to Jerusalem. And Jehu the son of Hanani the seer went out to meet him, and said to King Jehoshaphat, Shouldst thou help the ungodly and love them that hate Yahweh? Therefore is the wrath upon thee from before Yahweh. Nevertheless there are good things found in thee, that thou hast taken away the groves out of the land, and hast prepared thine heart to seek God. Jehoshaphat dwelt at Jerusalem, and he went out again through the people from Beersheba to Mount Ephraim, and brought them back unto Yahweh God of their fathers. And he set judges in the land throughout all the fenced cities of Judah, city by city, and said to the judges, Take heed what ye do, for ye judge not for man, but for Yahweh, who is with you in the judgment. Wherefore now let the fear of Yahweh be upon you. Take heed and do it, for there is no iniquity with Yahweh our God, no respect of persons, nor taking of gifts. Moreover, in Jerusalem did Jehoshaphat set of the Levites, and of the priests, and of the chief of the fathers of Israel, for the judgment of Yahweh, and for the controversies, when they returned to Jerusalem. And he charged them, saying, Thus shall ye do in the fear of Yahweh, faithfully and with a perfect heart. And what cost soever shall come to you of your brethren that dwell in their cities, between blood and blood, between law and commandment, statutes and judgments, ye shall even warn them that they trespass not against Yahweh. So the wrath come upon you and upon your brethren. This do, and ye shall not trespass. And behold, Amariah the chief priest is over you in all matters of Yahweh, and Zebediah the son of Ishmael, the ruler of the house of Judah, for all the king's matters, and also the Levites shall be officers before you. Deal courageously, and Yahweh shall be with the good. 2 Chronicles 20. And it came to pass after this also, that the children of Moab, and the children of Ammon, and with them other beside the Ammonites, came against Jehoshaphat to battle. And there came some that told Jehoshaphat, saying, There cometh a great multitude against thee from beyond the sea, on this side Syria. And behold, they be in Hazazon Tamar, which is En Gedi. Jehoshaphat feared and set himself to seek Yahweh, and proclaimed a fast throughout all Judah. And Judah gathered themselves together to ask help of Yahweh, even out of all the cities of Judah. They came to seek Yahweh. And Jehoshaphat stood in the congregation of Judah and Jerusalem, and in the house of Yahweh before the new court. He said, O Yahweh, God of our fathers, art not thou God in heaven, and rulest not thou over all the kingdoms of the heathen? And in thine hand is there not power and might, so that none is able to withstand thee? Art not thou our God, who didst drive out the inhabitants of the land before thy people Israel, and gavest it to the seed of Abraham thy friend forever? And they dwelt therein, and have built thee a sanctuary therein for thy name, saying, If, when evil cometh upon us, as a sword, judgment, or pestilence, or famine, we stand before this house in thy presence, for thy name is in this house, and cry unto thee in our affliction, then thou wilt hear and help. And now, behold, the children of Ammon and Moab and Mount Seir, whom thou wouldest not let Israel invade, when they came out of the land of Egypt, but they turned from them, and destroyed them not. Behold, I say, how they reward us, to come to cast out of thy possession, which thou hast given us to inherit. O our God, wilt thou not judge them? For we have no might against this great company that cometh against us, neither know we what to do, but our eyes are upon thee. I like this verse right here. They are totally relying on God. That's something that we can learn from in these passages, to totally and utterly rely on God and put our eyes upon God. So this is a great verse. Even when it seems that there's no hope because there's a great company against us, or the world is against us, or the situation is against us. And all Judah stood before Yahweh, with their little ones, their wives, and their children. Then upon Jehaziel, the son of Zechariah, the son of Benaiah, the son of Jael, the son of Mattaniah, a Levite of the sons of Asaph, came the Spirit of Yahweh in the midst of the congregation. And he said, Hearken ye, all Judah, and ye inhabitants of Jerusalem, and thou King Jehoshaphat. Thus saith Yahweh unto you, Be not afraid, nor dismayed by reason of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but God's. Wow. That is something that we should also think about. Battle is not ours, but God's, because we are giving it completely to Him to deal with. We're not relying on our own strength. We're not relying on our own understanding, but God's strength, God's way, God's understanding. Tomorrow go ye down against them. Behold, they come up by the cliff of Ziz, and ye shall find them at the end of the brook, before the wilderness of Jeru. Ye shall not need to fight in this battle. Set yourselves, stand ye still, and see the salvation of Yahweh with you. O Judah and Jerusalem, fear not, nor be dismayed. Tomorrow go out against them, for Yahweh will be with you. And Jehoshaphat bowed his head with his face to the ground, and all Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell before Yahweh, worshipping Yahweh. And the Levites, the children of the Kohathites, and of the children of the Korhites, stood up to praise Yahweh, God of Israel, with a loud voice on high. And they rose early in the morning and went forth into the wilderness of Tekoa. And as they went forth, Jehoshaphat stood and said, Hear me, O Judah, and ye inhabitants of Jerusalem. Believe in Yahweh your God, so shall ye be established. Believe his prophets, so shall ye prosper. And when he had consulted with the people, he appointed singers unto Yahweh, and that should praise the beauty of holiness as they went out before the army, and to say, Praise Yahweh, for his mercy endureth forever. When they began to sing and to praise, Yahweh set ambushments against the children of Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir, which were come against Judah, and they were smitten. For the children of Ammon and Moab stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir utterly, and to slay and to destroy them. And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Seir, everyone helped to destroy another. And when Judah came toward the watchtower in the wilderness, they looked into the multitude, and behold, they were dead bodies, fallen to the earth, and none escaped. When Jehoshaphat and his people came to take away the spoil of them, they found among them in abundance both riches with the dead bodies and precious jewels, which they stripped off for themselves, more than they could carry away. And they were 3 days in gathering of the spoil. It was so much. Wow. And on the 4th day they assembled themselves in the valley of Bechariah, for there they blessed Yahweh. Therefore the name of the same place was called the valley of Becharakkah unto this day. And they returned every man of Judah and Jerusalem, and Jehoshaphat in the forefront of them, to go again to Jerusalem with joy, for Yahweh had made them to rejoice over their enemies. And they came to Jerusalem with psalteries and harps and trumpets unto the house of Yahweh. And the fear of God was on all the kingdoms of those countries, when they had heard that Yahweh fought against the enemies of Israel. So the realm of Jehoshaphat was quiet, for his God gave him rest round about. And Jehoshaphat reigned over Judah. He was 35 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 25 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Azubah, the daughter of Shilhi. And he walked in the way of Asa his father, and departed not from it, doing that which was right in the sight of Yahweh. Howbeit the high places were not taken away, for as yet the people had not prepared their hearts unto the God of their fathers. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoshaphat, first and last, behold, they are written in the book of Jehu the son of Hanani, who is mentioned in the book of the kings of Israel. And after this did Jehoshaphat king of Judah join himself with Ahaziah the king of Israel, who did very wickedly. And he joined himself with him to make ships to go to Tarshish, and they made the ships in Ezon Geber. Then Eleazar the son of Dodava and Marashah prophesied against Jehoshaphat, saying, Because thou hast joined thyself with Uzziah, Yahweh hath broken thy works, and the ships were broken, that they were not able to go to Tarshish. Alright, well, we see many times in the Bible how it says, do not be equally yoked, or do not join together with evil or wicked people or ungodly people. And we see that because the influence of these people whom we surround ourselves with, they will rub off on us whether we like it or not, whether we want to or not. Their actions, their ways, their habits will rub off on us. That is why we cannot be mixed together with them, yoked together with them, in their company, have friends with them. How can we be friends with somebody who hates God, or people who are evil or do wickedly? This clearly we see here in these verses that because Jehoshaphat, made an alliance with him, with the evil king of Israel, that God was displeased. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? God will also be displeased if we make an alliance or a friendship or tolerate evil. Yeah, what's going on right now? We're tolerating evil. Why should we tolerate evil? God doesn't want to tolerate evil. It's crystal clear according to the Bible that we should not be joined together with evil. Period. So, great lessons to learn here. Alright, that's going to be it for today. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you guys have a great evening, morning, noon, wherever you're at. And remember to put God first in everything you do. Have faith in Him, trust in Him, wait upon Him, and you'll never be sorry. And God willing, we'll see you tomorrow with more Bible reading. So thank you and take care.